Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Labor's much anticipated release of its election costings hit a snag just hours after being made public. The document had to be reissued after some numbers didn't match up. But the party is pledging to bring the budget back into surplus faster than the Liberals.
Putting their money where their mouth is. After weeks of promises, Labor released its plan to pay for its commitments.
We've identified savings, we've identified offsets, and we've been responsible in what we've done.
The party pledging nearly $1.7 billion in spending over the forward estimates, but says it's found more than $2 billion worth of savings, including scrapping the Southern Outlet Fifth Lane project, reduced spending on locum doctors and overtime, and taking an axe to government spin doctors.
They've been employing people like Brett Whiteley and Jackie Petrusma. That needs to end.
Labor also pledging to return the budget to surplus by 2027. But the big reveal hit a hurdle. Just hours after its release, a new document had to be reissued after its headline numbers didn't match the actual figures, the party blaming a small error. Michael Ferguson pounced, calling the reissue the most embarrassing campaign failure of the past 2 decades. Earlier in the day, the Premier questioned where the money was coming from.
The only way they could possibly afford to come good on their commitments is to tax Tasmanians.
We'll have to pay off the Liberals' debt just like we did last time we were elected, but we'll also be able to demonstrate how we can affordably take action on the cost of living.
But Jeremy Rockcliffe has his own headaches. Paramedics will stop work tomorrow to meet after the much vaunted ban on ramping was delayed, threatening industrial action. The union blames the government's consultation efforts.
They had 12 months to do this. The fact that they failed to do so is their entire problem, and they need to get in and fix it.
HACSU are on board, and we will ensure that all our workforce support our plan.
Also making a soundbite that could make or break him.
Banning, ending, no ramping. Zilch, zero.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
The state's 2 major political parties are looking to score votes through extra funding for local sport. Labor committing $6 million towards a new indoor basketball centre at Hobart's Rugby Park, providing a home court for the Hobart Phoenix Basketball Club.
Many basketball clubs around Tasmania do not have home facilities, and this is a legacy issue that the Labor Party is serious about.
We'd be able to grow the club further. We'd be able to introduce pathways.
The Liberals pledging an extra 2,500 ticket to play vouchers for families. They'll also introduce a ticket to wellbeing initiative for senior citizens.
We know that the benefits that kids get from the social interaction from sport is equally important for people of an older age as well.
RecLink would also secure an extra $150,000 a year in funding. Meanwhile, the Greens plan to invest in local jobs if elected. The party allocating $110 million over 4 years to training and support in a bid to improve Tasmania's skills shortage.
We will make sure that Tasmania has the Cert 3 in automotive electrical training. Currently, Tasmania and the Northern Territory are the only states that don't have this on offer.
The 2030 policy includes free TAS-TAFE and 20 new vet courses. And 20 of the country's best ceramic artists have put their work on display in Hobart. Celebrating 6 decades of the art form, just one Tasmanian made the cut. Artist Ben Richardson hoping visitors take the time to understand the diversity and history of the pieces.
I've chosen to group 3 wood-fired pieces using Tasmanian materials in a gathering.
The exhibition is open to the public from tomorrow. Ben Yole's lawyer is adamant Tas Racing doesn't have the jurisdiction to ban the controversial trainer from its tracks. Appearing in the Supreme Court on his behalf, Damien Shields says that responsibility falls upon the stewards panel, still yet to be formed. Tas Racing's lawyer says the Murray report's findings are grounds enough to issue the warning off notices. Harmony Week celebrations are continuing with a festival in the State South. Performers from all over the world sharing their culture and the crowds getting in on the act.
A celebration of culture taking to Franklin Square stage. Local performers sharing their talents at Hobart's Together Festival.
The style of dance I was doing earlier is called Bharatanatyam, which is like a traditional dance in India.
Celebrating Harmony Day, the event coinciding with the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination.
It's really good to have understanding of other cultures and get a knowledge of it and be part of it. So, that gives a harmony and that makes it like us, one.
Crowds turning out for the occasion, including students taking some time away from the school grounds.
Our Chinese teacher, Mr. Ma, has decided that it's a really good opportunity for us to come out and celebrate all the different and diverse cultures we have here in Tasmania.
The festivities going down a treat with multicultural food stalls set up as well as information booths.
You can see a lot of people from different nations, literally everywhere, in every work sector, school. So I feel like it's really important to, gather everyone.
Attendees motivated to make Hobart an even more accepting city. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
Launceston businesses are bracing for a flood of bargain hunters as Super Sale Saturday returns this weekend. Midas Shoes is one of the stores offering one-day only discounts, shops banding together to breathe life into the city.
Something like this will actually bring people into town, into shops, looking around and taking advantage of some great specials.
It's not just for grown-ups, free entertainment and a visit from the Easter Bunny will keep kids busy too. A new temporary public art installation has been revealed at the Tamar Island wetlands. Art participants drew inspiration from the surroundings to create these sculptures.
At first glance you think of the birds and you think of the rushes, but there's so much more here as well.
It's got to be a bit of a homage to the environment where we live, and making connections and having the opportunity to be creative.
The Queen Victoria Museum and Art Gallery says the project highlights the important role the wetlands play in the global ecosystem.
The Tigers have plenty of work to do at the Wacker to win their first Sheffield Shield in 11 years. Struggling to control the hosts through most of the afternoon until a late burst of wickets. The Western Australians 5 for 226 a short time ago. With the sun shining in the west, a shaky start to Tasmania's attempt to break its Shield drought. WA opener Sam Whiteman turning on the tap, blasting 21 off his first 14 balls. The Tigers getting their step counts up, chasing boundary after boundary. Concussed Cameron Bancroft confined to the stands with a nasty shiner, watching his replacement Darcy Short survive a catch thanks to a no ball and escaping again minutes later.
And caught, dropped at first slip by Caleb Jewell, he's put it down.
A front row seat for workers building the Wacker's new stand. As Short continued building the score, making Tassie pay for their errors. The openers reaching a partnership century just after lunch, but Darcy's luck would eventually run short.
Edges and he's gone, so he gets the 50 and he's on his way.
A second following soon after.
He's undone by a beauty.
But the Tassie fielders would need their hard hats with Whiteman bashing out a century of his own before succumbing to an LBW. The hosts digging in undeterred, looking to make history with a three-peat in both the Shield and One Day Cup. Sam Rainbird's exclusion from that Tigers final squad is a boon for Clarence, who'll have the cricket veteran on board to face Canberra for this weekend's CTPL first grade grand final.
I think the sides match up pretty well, and obviously both teams rely on a couple of players, but it's always a tough contest against Canberra. They're a very good club.
Canberra's Mad Monday plans put on hold last week when the discovery of a ladder error unexpectedly placed them in the semi-final.
We felt like winning 11 games that we probably earned that last spot, so there was no ifs and doubts about that we should be there or not, and the boys obviously responded last week with the win.
The three-day final starts tomorrow at Blunsdon, which became available when hosting duties for the Shield final shifted to the Wacker. To the AFL now, and pressure is on Collingwood to redeem itself after losing its first 2 games. The reigning premiers are just minutes away from matching up against St Kilda, marching into the stadium for mental health in tribute to Saints champion Danny Frawley. Catch that game live here on 7 Tasmania straight after the news. It's been a successful day on the water for Tasmanian crews at the Rowing Australian Championships. Tasmanian University Rowing Club's Sophie Robinson taking the gold in the under-23 single scull. Buckingham's Verena Zilm taking bronze in the Opens. Bronze as well for Launceston Grammar's Oliver Quinn and George Beecham in the under-19 pairs. The Jack Jumpers need to level their 0-1 start to the Grand Final series in tomorrow's home court clash against Melbourne United. After back-to-back trips to Melbourne and Perth, the players are looking forward to waking up in their own beds and leaning on the notorious Jackies home crowd for an advantage.
One of the last team huddles before Game 2 of the Championship Series. The Jackies looking to defend the island following a 24-point loss to Melbourne United.
We've got some things to tidy up, and Melbourne United played really good basketball, so we're glad to be back at home and looking forward to making some adjustments.
The side using today's training session at the Kingborough Sports Centre to work on what went wrong.
There'll be some subtle changes in terms of the matchups and lineups, but also the very basic things we need to fix first.
Tidying up offensive rebound and defensive transition top of the to-do list, something the sides say they normally do well.
You know our Jackies, they're 100% all the time at every moment, so we came in fired up, energized, ready to go.
For Lee, tomorrow marks 50 games, something he today seemed quite happy about.
What? I made 50? What? Trying to get to 200, let's go.
Tickets to the game have already sold out, with watch parties expected across the state, while the team hopes fans come to play.
They've been unbelievable all year long, so we're looking forward to having that extra defender out there for us on Friday night.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
Good evening. Hobart and Launceston 21 degrees today. Devonport our warmest with 22 and Burnie reached 20. Temperatures more reflective of autumn today. Friendly Beaches and Bushy Park 21, St Helens and Grove 20, Flinders Island 19, King Island 18 and Strawn 17 degrees. A few showers over the west, just 4 millimetres at Zeehan. The highest total of scattered low cloud moved over the west. Bit of patch cleared the Furneaux Islands as well. A thick band of mid-level cloud is over most of the Northern Territory, Northern South Australia and Southern Queensland. The rest of the country mostly clear, bit moving through the bight though. Tomorrow a ridge of high pressure over the south of the country with the consistent areas of low pressure over the far north. Winds west-northwesterly at 15 to 25 knots, but to 30 knots over our southern waters with a 3.5 metre swell. So we do have a strong wind warning there. That's been issued for waters between Tasman Island and Low Rocky Point. Friday for Hobart, a top of 21 and partly cloudy. Same for Campania, a possible shower for Huonville, 20 the maximum. Launceston, a high of 22 and partly cloudy, 21 for Devonport. Georgetown, cloudy as well, 20 the maximum. Burnie, 19. Showers for Strawn, 18 the high and 21 for Wynyard. While for St Helens tomorrow, a high of 22 degrees, partly cloudy for Swansea as well, 22 and 22 for Port Arthur. To the weekend and on Saturday, fine and mostly sunny, but an 80% chance again of a shower over Strawn. A few more showers extending across the state on Sunday, mostly leaving the north and northeast alone, and on Monday a possible shower through Bass Strait and the west, otherwise fine. Sunny and warm in Perth and Adelaide tomorrow, fine as well in Melbourne, 22 there, a cloudy 24 in Sydney, a shower forecast for Brisbane and a possible storm in Darwin. Partly cloudy and 17 in Hobart, 18 in Launceston right now, 18 also in Devonport. Meant to tell you earlier, Kim, I went and voted today. Oh, I wasn't dressed like this, I had a tank top, pair of shorts and thongs, so my voting was informal.
Oh dear, you're a scallywag. Well, that is all your news for now. Thanks for joining us tonight. Good night.